In this video, I'm going to be going over the top 15 wide receivers in the 2024 NFL Draft based on their consensus big board placement. Be on the lookout for your team in this video. You may have some connections to some of these pass catchers. Enjoy. Kicking off this wide receiver list is the number 1 prospect on the overall consensus big board, Ohio State's very own Marvin Harrison Jr. He's quite possibly one of the greatest, if not the greatest, wide receiver prospect to come out in recent memory, and he has the upside to be the greatest of all time. MHJ has a huge combination of so many different crucial traits. From an athletic standpoint, he's explosive off both the line and his break. He's got crazy good control in his cuts, and he's a short-term threat from a speed standpoint. From a receiving threat standpoint, he's got reliable hands, great route running, and some great contested catch abilities. Adding on to all of this, he's got very good body control, IQ, and is overall just a phenomenal wide receiver that holds so many elite traits. As some possible minor concerns, he does struggle to shed first contact, which reduces his upside as a yak threat. His build is also made for contested catch receivers, so naturally, his frame will prevent his pad level from being great. But that's about it. MHJ is a fantastic wide receiver in a very, very good wide receiver class. If it wasn't for Caleb Williams, he'd probably be going number 1. His common mock draft placement is 2nd overall to the Chicago Bears. On to the next guy, which is Florida State wideout Keon Coleman. Coleman starts a long list of guys who will likely be immediate threats at the next level. Coleman is likely the flashiest wide receiver in this class. First, he's got superb athleticism for his size. He's very explosive with nice route running due to his fantastic twitch. He's got the acceleration and overall deep speed to make it to his spot fast, and all of this combined makes him a threat at all 3 levels of the field. He's also a contested catch threat as well. He's got a great eye for the ball and puts together some elite body control to find a way to both make the catch and come down with it. Some of his receptions look like he defied gravity. On the flip side, he does have some minor concerns with his hands, not particularly with his drops, but more with his tendency to sometimes be too late on designed connections. And while he is a naturally good route runner, he struggles with deception, and athletic DBs will stay locked down on his short and medium routes. Coleman absolutely put himself on the map this season, and he's been such a fantastic threat for Florida State. His mock draft projection is 13th to the Indianapolis Colts. In 3rd on this consensus list, Malik Nabers out of LSU makes his appearance. Nabers has been the top target for potential Heisman winner Jaden Daniels, so naturally, he's going to be high on this list. So the last 2 guys are big bodies who can use their athleticism more than their physicality. Nabers flips the script, as he is a smaller receiver who uses his physicality extremely well. He's very nice at using his hands to create separation, he's got good contact balance, and he breaks tackles with ease. He's also got nice route running with his semi-good explosiveness on his breaks to get to his point. On the downside though, he could grow his overall athletic profile, especially given his size. He could be more twitchy in the open field, and his acceleration may prevent short route opportunities. Tagging onto that, he's still growing his route tree and overall needs to be a better route runner. Nabers has very high potential to be an extremely good threat at the next level. His consensus mock draft placement is 24th to the Cincinnati Bengals. We already have the 2nd Ohio State wide receiver to make this list, as Emeka Egbuka makes his appearance. Egbuka has not had the production we'd hope for out of him in 2023, but he's still a very talented receiver. Egbuka is a unique wide receiver prospect. As I said, he doesn't have too much production in 2023, but he has some fantastic deep threat upside. He's got consistent deep speed with long strides and nice change of direction to launch DBs away. He's a very solid yak weapon after separation, but it's not too present in the short game. When you connect all of this together, it makes sense that he's not producing with Kyle McCord at quarterback. But that brings forth his first negative. Without a top quarterback, he might not produce. He must improve on becoming a threat in the short and medium game more than the long game, and that will start with his route running and break separation. He's good athletically, but not too much to appreciate in the short game. Egbuka has his concerns, that's for sure, but he has the upside to be one of the NFL's best deep threats. His consensus mock draft placement is 19th to the New Orleans Saints. Rounding out the top 5, Rome Odunze makes his way onto this list. As Penix Jr.'s top target, he made his journey to the Heisman Trophy so much easier. Odunze is another big-bodied receiver, and his primary way of attack is through contested catch opportunities. He's got an insane catch radius, and his strength and size help retrieve these passes. He's also a very good route runner, using his nice cuts and his physicality at the break to create very solid separation. Now, his physicality is top tier, but that means he's sacrificing athleticism to work for a specific skill set. His explosiveness, open field elusiveness, and overall speed is nothing to adore, and he's overall going to be a big red zone threat in the NFL. He may have a lot of long touchdowns in the stat sheet, but a majority of them are flashy, physical-filled plays. Odunze has a very fun skill set, and while he may not be the most athletic receiver in this class, he's going to be very fun to work with. His current mock draft placement is 23 to the Houston Texans. The first of 2 straight Texas wide receivers is Xavier Worthy, who is projected as the 6th wide receiver to come off the board. Ever since entering the Texas scene, he has been very appealing to scouts, and he's been productive every year so far. Worthy is a small receiver, but he uses that to his advantage with his top-notch athleticism. He's explosive everywhere on the field, whether that be in the press, at the break, or deep downfield. He's a very good yak receiver who will likely be stuck to a slot, short route role in the NFL. That's where the negatives start. He's likely going to be stuck to the slot. He is 6'1", but he's in the 3rd percentile for weight at 172. He's nothing to adore physically, but I will shout out that he's got solid physical traits for his size. Finally, he's nothing great as a 50-50 receiver, so as I said before, he's likely just going to be a short route guy. Worthy is a very good receiver, but I do have to point out his thin frame that will limit his opportunities. Despite that, he's mocked to the Kansas City Chiefs at pick 31. The second of these 2 Texas receivers is Adonai Mitchell, who is better referred to as AD. He may have 12 receptions less than his teammate Worthy, but his efficiency has been top-notch at the college football level. Mitchell has a nice combination of athleticism and physical traits that will translate to the next level. He's got explosiveness off the line of scrimmage and looks to be a good deep threat in the NFL, especially when pressed. He's also fairly good at contested catch opportunities, and he's got very nice yak ability that teams will adore. Negatively, he's not the best route runner. His route tree is limited at the moment, but he has the potential to grow that. He also has never had production to love, as he was with Georgia his first 2 seasons and is finally receiving decent opportunities at Texas. Mitchell might be my favorite of these 2 Texas receivers, but I will dive more into that when draft season comes around. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see my rankings for the top 10 at every single position. Those will be coming out after the NFL season. AD Mitchell is consensus mocked to the Atlanta Falcons at pick 46. Moving on to the 8th spot here, consensus has Oregon's Troy Franklin. In his 3 years at Oregon, he's shown some great development to emerge as a top option in this draft. Franklin's positives begin with his route running. He's a crisp route runner who has some great breaks at all points of the field. He's got the athleticism to run through his entire route and even outrun DBs on deep balls. He's got the height to line up outside as a potential contested catch guy, and he's got the frame to get short opportunities in the slot. His frame does kick off the negatives though. He's got a thin frame, and it allows for defenders to make easy tackles given his subpar contact balance. He's also a solid yak guy, but it's nothing special, and he may need it to perform well at the next level. Franklin is a very good receiver to take a chance on in the 2024 NFL Draft. His consensus mock draft placement is currently 34th overall to the Carolina Panthers. A guy whose stock is continuously rising makes his way to 9th on this list. Xavier Legette out of South Carolina. He's very big for a wide receiver, but he has done nothing but use that to his advantage. Legette's positives will start with his things related to his big frame. He's a physical receiver with great body control and catch radius. You can use him as a deep threat, a 50-50 ball receiver, and a short gain yak guy. He's also got a fantastic combination of frame and athleticism, being a plus athlete for guys at his size. On the flip side, there's honestly not a lot to say. He's a fifth-year guy, which is concerning when provided with his only year of production just this year. In his first 4 years, he combined for only 42 receptions and 423 yards. He's also got a good knock of breaking tackles, but it's not as good as you would expect for a guy of his size. Legette may not have the appealing production, but man, he has the talent to absolutely blow you away. He is currently consensus mocked to the Houston Texans at pick 49. To wrap up the top 10, we have Johnny Wilson out of Florida State. The second Florida State wide receiver on this list, Wilson absolutely shatters the standards of your normal wide receiver. Johnny Wilson is 6'7". That's the start of it. He's athletic, especially for his size, showcasing a nice twitch and solid explosiveness off the line and press, but I doubt defenders are going to want to press him. Obviously, with his size, he's going to be a 50-50 ball receiver, and high passes can showcase his vertical. Now, I do want to point this out. His contested catch ability should be better given that he's 6'7", but outside of that, he could use a larger route tree and overall could just polish his route running altogether. He also struggles at ball tracking and is not the greatest deep threat you can get in this class. These negatives seem like he should switch over to tight end, but given his athleticism, he's going to be a wide receiver in the NFL. He has no consensus mock position, but some of his common mocks are to the Bengals and the Buccaneers. I'm going to go a little faster for these next 5 guys, but they're all of big significance. Beginning with Polk out of Washington, who sits 11th in consensus. Polk is the 4th guy on this list to be the second receiver out of a college, but he could be an NFL team's first receiver. First off, Polk has several physical traits that teams can adore. He's got good contact balance and he often uses his physicality to get open. He also utilizes good body control at the catch point to outmuscle DBs. His hands are also near the top of his class, using great ball tracking to haul in a lot of different balls. On the negative side, Polk's athleticism is nothing to adore, and his acceleration is near the bottom of his class. He's not too great in the open field, and honestly, I could see him being valued as just that reliable medium route guy. Polk is having such a productive year, and he's using that to increase Michael Penix Jr.'s Heisman stock and his own NFL draft stock. Common mocks have Polk going to the Chiefs. Oh my goodness, another team's wide receiver too. This time it's LSU's Brian Thomas Jr. I haven't heard enough about Thomas Jr., and honestly, given his production this year, I'm surprised. Thomas is a phenomenal red zone threat, and he is currently tied for the most touchdowns in FBS. He's got phenomenal body control, and with his 6'4" frame, he naturally has a high catch radius. Adding on to that, he's got some reliable hands, and with his upside to be a 3-level threat, his hands could be crucial to become a wide receiver 1. Negatively, he's really only shown upside as a deep receiver when not in the red zone. He's not the best route runner, and that shows in his short route plays, especially on third downs. Thomas seems like an insanely good red zone threat, and if he can nail down a specific skill set, he might become a team's wide receiver 1. He is the last guy with a consensus mock position, being mocked 30th to the Rams. Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky is the 13th receiver based on consensus. Despite being from a smaller FBS school, he deserves to be a bigger name. Corley's nickname is the Yak God. That should say enough. He's such an explosive receiver and almost never has concentration drops. Give him the middle of the field and he's off. He's also got the vision of a running back, and once he makes the league, he will get 5 to 7 receptions a game because of this. Now, it looks like he will be stuck to the slot in the NFL, which can prevent screen pass opportunities. He's also not a great route runner, primarily due to his limited route tree because of his size and lack of deep threat upside. Corley is such a fantastic slot receiver, and even if he has limits towards the outside, he should still be looked at heavily. The 49ers are the most common mock draft spot for Corley. This man doesn't feel like a redshirt junior. Lad McConkey is 14th on this list. He's got a nice dual threat skill set, which should give him enough stock in itself. With his dual threat nature, McConkey is a fantastic open field threat who will receive so many yak opportunities in the NFL. He's a shifty player with good route running abilities in the short and medium game. He's also more physical than his frame may suggest. Negatively, he's not as athletic as he should be given his frame. He also struggles on vertical cuts, struggling to cut back towards the football, which is commonly seen on deep routes, which he does struggle with. McConkey has produced all 3 years he's been in college football, and that should continue in the NFL. McConkey does not have any common mock draft placements. Finally, to end this list, Michigan's own Roman Wilson is 15th. His frame is full of deception, as he plays like a big-bodied receiver. Wilson's ball tracking skills are phenomenal. He's got strong hands, and he's able to track 50-50 balls at a high level. He's also a phenomenal adjuster to his matchup, as no matter the type of corner, he's still going to give them a fight. These negatives start with his production, as this is his best year and he still has under 600 receiving yards. He's also a lackluster blocker, and given that he struggles with that technique, he will likely be stuck to a specific role. Wilson is the final receiver in this stacked top 15, and there's still more to discuss. Wilson does not have a common mock draft. There are 21 other wide receivers who are projected to be drafted in the 2024 NFL draft, making a total of 36. Those next 21 receivers are on your screen right now. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm doing a lot more 2024 draft content now, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out. Once again, I'm Chase Keller from Chase Keller Journalism, and thank you guys so much for choosing this channel as your source of sports coverage. I'll see you guys in the next video.